Well, it's up to me, the honor to close this first part of the conference this morning. I will keep it short since we are a few minutes delayed. I will start with something I read in this SME assessment report. They said the Swiss thinks that they have the best dual system of the world. And so I agree, I'm Swiss, I really do. I felt like being proud of that. Nevertheless, I did not do any apprenticeship, any vocational training. Who of us did it? Who did it? So we have at least 2 people here have done it. And we are talking about improving the attractiveness of dual systems. So we have to start with ourselves. My role is also to have a critical review on this morning, but also on the results that you have been elaborated. I will mention again the objectives that Aurelia Ulrich taught us this morning. So it's about enhancing the public recognition and raise the career guidance for young people. Another objective of the project is to foster innovation and quality within the dual education and to improve the frame conditions for horizontal and vertical permeability. Now it's to say there are 3 main challenges that we are faced with. First, the education system is slow. Fortunately slow, because for that it's also solid. Unfortunately slow, because it keeps not up with the economy, which is faced with many changes, as Mirko Kudry said today. We live in a world of change. The second challenge is many people and institutions are involved. This system is so complex. And this is a good point because that's why dual education is broadly based. It's a good point. At the other hand, it's weak for that because it's very different to communicate and to coordinate all these different aspects and perspectives. The third challenge is we talk about harmonization, but at the same time our world is getting more and more individualized. And we talk about centralization, means, as we do here, find some common agreement on certain standards, but at the same time we live in our regions and we have our regional challenges to face with. So how do we deal with those trade-offs? I heard today, dual education is an iceberg. It's invisible mainly, and there is a lack of knowledge and public awareness. Mirko Kurti said that young people themselves, they are full of ideas and fantasy, but I read also in the SME assessment report that many people see that there is a lack of motivation and engagement of young people. How do we bring this together? Sure, they want to have a good salary and free weekend. Who doesn't? You don't have to blame that for that. And everybody has competencies, we heard today. But how to develop them, how to find them, and how to use them. Not only the cognitional competences, but also the handicraft, the music, the sports, all of that, which is not really recognized in the school career mainly. So the danger of permeability is, as Stefan Moric said today, also that the people fear, that the SMEs fear to educate the people and to lose them afterwards. But he also said, he makes hope too, that he said, there is also the opposite way. We have students who decide after their master's degree to start an apprenticeship. The recommendations of Julia Pinto-Christoph, I think what I get together to collect it, there are many needs, and it's not really astonishing having heard that, but it is demanding. And still we are in the middle of the project, and we are an observer, the CIPRA, you still have 1.5 years to face all these challenges that I mentioned and that were mentioned today. I come to my conclusions. We have here the DuALPlus. Dual stands for linking theory and practice. Means also including the higher education, because this permeability has to go also in the very vertical way, as we heard. The plus is the chance that we have through this dual education, and also the chance that role models can offer to young people, the chance that parents can be idols for the young people, as Mirko Kutri told us today with this survey they did. But the core of the DuALPlus is the ALP. And the core asks, which competences do we need in the Alps? So we're faced with climate change, we're faced with migration and demographic change, we're faced with limited natural resources. So I would just mention some that I think are very Alps linked. One is we need talents to improvise by learning and also failing and learning again. We need the willingness to change ourselves, to change our systems to go ahead. But also, we also need the recognition of tradition, that we build on the existing things that we have here and we valorize what we have. We need a resilience. We need resilience to stay and to go on, and also to deal with this ambiguity we live in this world. And last but not least, we need the competences to use the existing natural resources, such as water, wood, stone, soil, in a sustainable way. So the natural resources in the Alps are limited. We cannot extend it itself, but we can extend them by human resources. So let's work on that. The integration on the job is one thing for the integration for the society, and it helps us to keep the society together. My recommendation to the Pluralps project partners is crystallize the Alps-specific issues, as Aurelia mentioned now in the last round. The small SMEs, this is something very specific for the Alps. How can they deal with those challenges? A 3 years project will not change the system itself deeply, but it will deliver some inputs. It will deliver impulses, hope, and it will help to see the diversity of the systems in the Alpine countries and to learn from each other. For that, this international exchange is crucial to go ahead for everybody of us, but also for our educational system. I would say it with the words of Mauro Frisano. It is a cultural challenge, mainly. So I hope there will be many success stories to tell after further 1.5 years. And what it means for the Alps is not to replace the iceberg by a melting glacier, but maybe with a summit cross.
Grazie Barbara, andiamo a